The following video has been made available with closed captions for the hard of hearing and in described video for the visually impaired. Please visit the description below for more details.
As much as PC enthusiasts may claim that the mouse and keyboard is the ideal way to experience a game, it is lacking in many aspects. For one, the mouse and keyboard is a tool that is designed to do everything. And as most things designed to do everything, it does not do everything as well as a tool designed for the specific job would do. Let me introduce you to the solution. The wired Xbox 360 controller came out in 2015, and I still think it holds up really well. It is still arguably the best controller for playing PC games, thanks to its lower price and similar features compared to the Xbox One controller, as well as the first-party compatibility with Windows. It also does not require AA batteries or a wireless adapter, unlike the wireless one. However, the PC Master Race traditionally says that the mouse and keyboard is a better way to play a majority of games. Though this is true in some cases, this controller does have a couple tricks up its sleeve to justify its existence. I think that the most obvious reason is that the controllers are a lot easier to approach and use. First, it has a lot less buttons to figure out, and usually, for most games, every button has a purpose. For keyboards, there are just way too many buttons to press, and most of them don't do anything. That could be an advantage in some games, but most games don't need so many buttons. Having too many buttons can be confusing to new users, as they don't know which buttons are being used and which aren't. The controller also is designed for gaming, and the sculpted design is not only comfortable for long hours of gaming, but also invites the hands. Now, I use the verb invite a lot when it comes to good designs, and when I say that, I mean it communicates its purpose really well to the user. For example, this controller has rounded grips to indicate that users are supposed to hold it on the grips. Even if that isn't understood already, the way it is supposed to be placed on a table indicates how the product should be used as well. When it is in storage on a surface like a table, it has a sense of symmetry with the grips on either side and the wire coming out of the middle. The symmetry mirrors how humans also have two symmetrical hands, and we subconsciously relate to that. Then, when you want to pick it up, you choose to pick it up from the side because there is a gap or an arch to allow your fingers through. Using holes is a simple indication to users subconsciously where an item is intended to be handled from. A more common example of this is a collapsible cardboard box. The holes are used to indicate a gripping point. After you pick up the controller, the grips are only long enough and your hand slides off a bit. That indicates to the user that their index fingers are actually supposed to be on the triggers. Even using the word trigger and having them shaped like actual triggers informs those who understand the concept of triggers to relay that same idea to their usage onto this product. Finally, our thumbs have no place to rest, so concaves are put on the thumbsticks to cradle the thumbs. Though some may argue that the mouse and keyboard are used already every day and that makes them familiar, I would say that they are used for a different purpose. Especially the keyboard. It is normally used for typing, and one would ideally have their fingers on the home row. But when gaming, most people have it on the WASD keys, which may be foreign to some. I think that the controller has an advantage over the mouse and keyboard for being fundamentally more user-friendly to most people for gaming. But does it have anything to offer for the more experienced gamer? The mouse and keyboard are versatile and precise, but they do lack in a couple of areas. First, the keyboard is great because it features many buttons which can be mapped to many different functions. But all those are still buttons. They are all on and off inputs. This means that if you are driving a car and you wanted to brake only a little, you would not be able to communicate that to the game. You cannot press the button halfway and only brake half as hard. Or if you wanted to sneak using your character, you can't press the walk button slightly and expect the in-game character to move slightly slower. There are workarounds, but they don't capture the experience as well. With the analog triggers on the Xbox 360 controller, it makes it easy to control braking and acceleration in racing games. The thumbsticks are also great because if you want to make a slight adjustment while steering, the stick can be moved slightly, rather than the all-or-nothing nature of the buttons on the keyboard. In terms of the mouse, though, it destroys the controller in every way when it comes to precision, but the controller's thumbsticks are also able to input repeated motions. For example, if you're playing a first-person shooter and you wanted to turn around, on the mouse you would have to move it in one direction, then lift it up, and then move it more so you have more room to move the mouse. With a controller, the action is one movement of the thumbstick. It is faster and less fiddly. The controller also doesn't require a flat surface that is smooth and of a solid color. That means it is also great for playing games on the couch or in bed. Those are both really specific use cases, but my favorite reason to use the controller by far is the haptic feedback. It adds a whole new dimension to some games and changes the way I interact with others. With horror games, the vibration really enhances the scare, and with first-person shooters, it lets you feel every bullet. When driving in games, it also allows you to feel every bump or feel the impact of a crash. It adds a whole level of immersion that simply cannot be effectively replicated on a mouse and keyboard. I would go as far as saying that the haptic feedback does more to immerse a player than an ultra-high-resolution display or a slightly better frame rate. I think it is easy to see now why an Xbox controller is essential for any self-respecting gamer. Though it may not be better than a mouse, it really adds a lot to the gaming experience, and it can do what a mouse and keyboard never could. I believe that the fundamental design of a controller and its ability to feel welcoming to its users is unique, and not easy to do from a design perspective. At the same time, it is also able to add something for the experienced gamer, and overall offer a better experience for both parties. Its ability to do both allowed it to be a good foundation for many games, and is a demonstration of the skill of the designers at Microsoft. I hope you enjoyed this video. Next week I will be releasing the season finale. If you have not yet watched all the previous episodes of this season, I would recommend going back and watching those. Anyways, I hope to see you all next week.